Get started. Let's go, our Heavenly Father, in prayer. Dear Lord, we thank you so much for allowing us to have this opportunity, Lord. We pray that you allow us, Lord, as a congregation, Lord, to think of not just our spiritual health, but our physical health as well, Lord. We pray for the presenters, Lord, that what they present, Lord, will be beneficial to us, not just here, but everywhere that we see fit to be involved in physical activities, Lord. We pray, Lord, that you just go with us and guide our steps and allow Tri-Cities, Lord, to not just help one another, Lord, but help the community as well and all those we come in contact with, Lord. We pray, Lord, that you continue to give us opportunities like this, Lord, to enlighten our spirits and enlighten our hearts and minds, that we can continue to grow, Lord, according to your will. We thank you and we love you. It's in Jesus Christ's name we do pray. Amen.
Good morning, ladies. Good morning, sisters and brothers. This is our, this is my first Tri Wellness program that I did. So I couldn't think of anything because I'm not into any of the health stuff. As you can see, I don't eat healthy. I don't do, but my topic, I just came in to being like senior saints. I chose that topic because, I'm now in my 60s, and I said, things are changing for me. And I said, well, that'd be a nice topic to speak about, and also that we started our Senior Saints ministry. So it kind of tie in together, and then also being with the Tri-Wellness Health, seminar, program that we have with Sister Balloon and Sister Davis. So I said, well, I'll give it a try. I'll see what I can do. So I gave the flyers out, a little seminar. And so, and I just gave a little, it's going to be very brief. And as we most know, that we already experienced some of these situations, as we get older, our mind be thinking, we can still do this, but our body's telling us, no, you can't. So I just want to just bring it to us as we age. It doesn't mean that we can't still do the work for God. So I just wrote that as we mature, we will notice changes on our everyday activities. And that's something I notice as I wake up, as I, do my work. There's times I say, ooh, I can't sit here too long anymore, I have to get up and stretch, and, and which is, it's just part of aging, You wake up and you go, oh, I'm a little bit stiff here, So it's part of life now. From just simply getting out of bed to making decisions that may affect our lives and our families. As we get older, too, we have to be mindful. It's not just about us, it's also about our families. How do we affect our families? As we all know, we have known, or we have ourselves experienced as our parents get older or family gets older, it affects the entire family. We have someone, that it gets, my mom, as she got older, it affected me and my brothers. We had to step in and share the responsibility of taking care of her. Unfortunately, there's some families don't have that luxury of having family members step in and helping when they can. Also, but let's not make our day to become a challenge, but an opportunity to take charge and make it our own. And what I mean by that is that as we get older, and sometimes we make it a challenge, because now we can't do what we used to do. We're not able to just get up and go and let's do this. Now, some of us are already taking medications that we got to keep up with, and myself, I got to take my high blood pressure, my high blood pressure readings, so it takes, you start shifting and start making time to take care of yourself, and it's not no longer get up and go. So let's not just make it like a challenge, but it's an opportunity for us to take care of ourselves, to be able, not only for ourselves, but for our families. Everything is what we do for ourselves is for the family too, because it affects our family, what we do. And below I just put down, if you put down tips that will help us to stay active and current with what we can do to help ourselves. I always begin my day with prayer. No matter, my day begin with a prayer and have a positive outlook and attitude. There are times I do feel sick. There are times, I may wake up with a headache, or sometimes my blood pressure can be low or high, but I try not to dwell on that or have self-pity, and I remind myself that there's somebody out there worse than what I am. And I'm thankful that I'm still not only open my eyes, but I'm able to get out of bed, and be able to still take care of myself and still do for myself. A lot of, there's individuals even younger than we are that don't have that luxury. They just wake up and that's all. They can't move, they can't, and it could be for an accident or just an illness. So it's a blessing. I pray, I get up every day and pray and give thanks to God. And for me to be, have a better outlook in life. I pray for wisdom, and just to make decisions in my life for that day, If possible, plan your week activities when this will help from you becoming bored or homebound. This is now when people are retired, which I'm pretty much there. I'm going to be retired. And I was thinking to myself, I worked all my life, as you ladies probably did too. All your life you worked, you took care of family, you were on the go, and you're like, you never have enough time because you ran out of time because, I couldn't do this load of money because I ran out of time, or I couldn't do this. Well, when we retire, I think we need to plan so we won't be bored. And it's good to start planning, hey, God willing, let's just plan this. Let's be able to become, so we will become homebound. I have experienced that now that I work from home. Unfortunately, I found myself there and I still do, I become homebound. I don't want to go nowhere. I just want to be in my comfort of my home. Well, that is also not good either. We need to be out there, even if you just go out and get a cup of coffee, or just get, like Sister Pugh did, go out and walk, do something so your mind is not idle and not just sitting there. Because I believe that we just stay idle and homebound, we will become where we start not being able to take care of ourselves. We start becoming stiff and not able to function like we should be functioning. To me, this is something I'm looking forward to join the Senior Citizen Center, just to stay active and meet people in your community. That's not only is to meet people, but also to spread the gospel. You meet people, senior citizens, that maybe just need to hear the word. And a lot of them need to be encouraged. I remember my mother-in-law, when she lived with us, she wasn't a senior citizen for the colony, and she enjoyed it. She was able to meet people. They did activities. She would come and tell me stories of what they did and all that. So it's something for us. I'm looking into joining one in the colony and see what they have to offer. But it's not only the senior citizen. We created a ministry here ourselves for senior citizens, which we can't wait to start having our activities, making little field trips, doing events. We did our first event, in April, and it was such a lovely event. We were able to meet, get to know it one-on-one. And that's what we need to do, And not only that, just to get to know each other personally. That way we can help each other, support one another. Especially now that, hey, I went through this, and if I see my sister going through the same thing, hey, I can give you some tips. Or hey, I know this. Maybe we need to do this, So it's always staying in touch, communication, and also serve the community. We're never too old to serve the community. And serve our church also. We can plan trips, events. We can also do things, as a Tri-Cities Church of Christ. Be able to do, or like we were planning our events and trips here for our senior citizen ministry. We can serve our communities. Get out there and do something. It could be a youth. It could be back to school. It could be feeding the hungry. As long as we stay active, We can plan Bible studies. We can plan Bible studies within our group. We can also plan Bible studies with another age group. It could be the younger ladies. It could be the toddlers. Children, they're just different grades, young adults. we can do that. Our wisdom, God give us the wisdom and the knowledge that we need to continue to keep growing and growing. Number 5 is be willing to learn something new. This is something I have learned still working. There's always something new for us to learn at our job. And you get scared because you go, I'm going to mess this up. I know I'm going to mess this up. But you know what? Our mind is never too old to learn. We are here to learn. God give us the wisdom, and we just need to apply it. And that's it. We need to learn how to navigate and use new softwares, new programs. Because unfortunately, a lot of the stuff that us senior citizens, which I'm becoming to be aware, everything is computer. You make a phone call to some kind of service, you get.
I was going to say, you talking about learning new software. I don't even know how to do the old software. But I was struggling this morning with some of the senior ministry stuff, trying to just even know how to set, what are those things?
Excel?
Put it in the middle of the page. Yeah, how to do that. I was just sitting there struggling with it. I just have to wait till one of my grandkids wake up so they can help me with this.
Yeah.
Helping each other with any software.
Yeah, and it's good to learn. I think a lot of even senior citizen places, they have computer classes. It can be beginners or whatever. Like me, I've learned a lot because I still work in the workforce, and there's always introducing something new for us. Now you got to use this, and of course the young ones, they catch on like that. They already know it, and us old folks, we're like, okay, what do I do here? If I push this button, am I going to mess up something? So it's always good to know, be up to date as much as you can. Because like I said, I was just finding out as I was applying for benefits and stuff, a lot of it's just now computer. They send you a link, you apply and the forms is on everything is online. It's, barely, and even when you make a phone call, it's that automatic voice, you push this button. If you need to talk to so-and-so, press 1. If you want to talk to someone, you go like, okay, repeat again, Push 9 because I need you to repeat the whole thing again for me. But it is. Now is, as you can say, it's all online, Forms online, you create the PDFs, you scan them, you send them back as an attachment. So there's stuff that we still need to keep up with, so we don't miss out the benefits that we need also as senior citizens. Explore benefits that would help you, like Medicare. There's also health insurance, assisted living. We need to stay connected. We need to make sure what's out there for us as we grow older and be able to retire, and what is the benefits that are out there. Again, using your computer. Yes, sister.
And I don't personally accept Medicare, but you can use Medicare to get chiropractic care.
Okay,
So
see?
if you ever want to use your Medicare, and I can find someone for you where you can start getting adjusted.
Mm-hmm.
You've earned it, so use it.
Yes, there's a lot of things that we don't know if we don't explore it, like the benefits that we have as senior citizens, like discounts. I think one time I went to Ross and they said, oh, you qualify for discounts on Tuesdays. I said, huh, I didn't go shopping on Tuesdays then. But, every little thing helps. Because, when you're receiving, your fixed income, hey, everything helps. Even if you're working, everything helps. Every little discount helps. So it's always good to stay connected. Know your benefits. I know when I turned close to 65, I was getting all kind of templates and emails and phone calls about Medicare. I mean, I was so confused because I was getting all this information. But it's still nice to get that information because you don't know what you're eligible to receive. If you don't ask, if you don't research, you will miss. And a lot of that stuff is deadlines. If you don't apply by this time, it's too late. You got to wait till the next year, So it's always good to stay connected. I get a lot of information on my emails, so I try to open up, read them, and see, okay, will this apply to me, and start reading what it is there, I noticed that like United Health always sending you information, because that's the insurance my company use as their insurance. So I receive a lot of information about Medicare through them. Believe it or not, I have a credit union, In Touch. They have a program called Silver, and it is basically for senior citizens, and they send you all kind of information about Medicare, about savings, about insurance for auto and home. Also, even applying for home loans is for senior citizens. So that's a service that In Touch does, and that which I didn't know the banks would do that for you, but this particular credit union does that. Oh, see, those are the little things that we can use.
Everybody can't hear me. Did y'all hear that? Did you hear that? Okay, sorry. So my parents, I learned from my parents that they get some sort of an amount every year. I think it's in the form of credit card or something to be able to use at the pharmacies.
Okay.
You know, it's almost, almost like that. Yep. Yeah, so they give you a certain amount, you don't have to pay for it, it's free. And then, two, if you do like an in-home physical or have somebody come out to your house, they give you money for that, just for doing
Okay.
that. Yeah,
See, and those are little things, as you start applying for
yep,
like retirement, and those are things that we need to know. Oh, I didn't know that, because like I said, a lot of the information will come to us on emails, and a lot of us, oh, it's just an email, I don't want to read it, and we skip it.
And two, you can be enrolled in just about any exercise program. LA Fitness, what's some other ones? Planet Fitness, all of that for free.
Oh, that's something that's good to
Yeah.
know too, because as we get older, we want to stay healthy or get into some exercise, and that was my actually that was my next point. Stay active and eat well. As we get older, some medical conditions becomes more common or more serious. So it's important to stay on top of your health condition. And I list up below. I list like common conditions that as we get older we will experience. Like the flu season. I hear that all the time. You got to get your flu shot at a certain age. Weight gain. We have a tendency of putting a little bit extra weight on us. Sometimes some of us will experience sleep problems. Like me, lately I go to bed at 12 and get up at 5. And I just don't know. I wake up and I say, okay, what? And I said, well, nothing on my mind. Because first I thought, am I worrying about something? I said, no. Nutrition problems. This is something that I know I experience because I do not eat properly, and I need to make that effort and time to do so. But that's why we have Tri-City Wellness. We have two individuals, Dr. Tamara Davis and also Sister Balloon over here, that they will help us, with any kind of questions that we have. If you just need some kind of, I've gone to both of them, hey, if I'm experiencing this, what should I take, because I know they're both more on the natural stuff instead of the medication, which I'm for that because I hate taking medication. Right now I have trouble taking my high blood pressure. I skip it sometimes because I forget, which I know I don't need to, but I said, I pray to God. I said, take care of me, and and I know you're going to be taking care of me. But that's a nutrition problem we also have. Fatigue, fragile bones. That's another thing we need to be as we get older. We always experience about that. But that's also we can take care of that also by just making sure that we stay active, exercise, get sun, take a proper vitamins or minerals that our body is missing. Depression. Sometimes we fall in depression because we feel lonely. We don't have our family. We're not taking care of family like we used to. our family grow, they take off and become their own family, and we're just sitting there like, what's next, you know? And we, you know, sometimes you feel depressed because you're just there by yourself sometimes, you know? Memory loss is another problem a lot of people are experiencing. Now I heard that they're experiencing even at a younger age, you know? And I believe that's not, I never remember me growing up, because I grew up with my grandmother next, you know, she, God bless us to have her. She was 106 when she passed. But she had her memory. She lost her memory when she became closer to her death, you know, but I could sit there and talk to her, and she was like 80 and 90, and she still knew everybody, you know. So I don't know if it's just something that we're now, what they put in our food. Of course, I really believe it's the air we breathe too. You know, so much chemicals in our air now. The phones, they say a lot of the stuff that we use daily, computers, phones, TVs, that also had to do a lot of interference with our mind, you know. Blood pressure, that's another thing that's me experience. I never had blood pressure until one day it just happened, you know, which I'm wanting to get rid of that medication out of my system. Diabetes, again, that's also something that it's really just us taking care of ourselves, you know, stay active, start eating right, you know. And I'm guilty of this. I eat too much fast food. Let me just go quick and get something instead of taking my time and making stuff at home, you know. Heart disease, you know, they said that's a silent killer for women, you know, because a lot of times I believe because we ignore the symptoms, you know, we ignore the signs. Oh, you know, I just have a headache, you know, my arm I fell asleep, you know. And a lot of times it's, you know, we already have some kind of symptoms going on. Vision problems, you know, that's me, you know, do we get the cataracts and stuff? But that's nothing we can do. I don't believe that's just natural as we get older. Sister Tamara?
No, I'm on a supplement right now. I'm 51, and I started taking it, and in a day, I could feel a difference.
Really?
Because I don't wear glasses. Now, I could probably use reading glasses, but when I take this particular supplement, I don't. And me and Sister Balloon are real big on organ type
Yes.
supplements. This is a dried eyeball
Eyeballs.
supplement. Yes. And I got Taj on it, and I have James on it right now. Taj says he can feel it quickly, and Taj has been wearing glasses since he was, when did I put him in glasses? 6 maybe, or 7? He said the other day he went without his glasses.
Yeah, that's great, you know.
So-
what kind of eyeball is it from? The calf or cow?
It is bovine, which is cow.
Because I know when we used to cook, my mom, we cook, you know, we cook like the cow head or the goat head, and they would eat the
Yes.
eyeballs out of it.
The brain too? Did you
Yeah,
eat
the
the brain too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't have a palate for that. I don't know if anybody else does. But yes, and then they don't do the organs, they don't do the animals like they used to, you know, when you were younger. They're not cleaner, so we have to kind of do it in supplement form. Plus, even in supplement form, you get more
Oh, okay.
than having to try to
Try to-
sit and consume it and stomach it. So
Yeah.
just to let you know, there are things that you can do with these
supplement
conditions.
conditions,
That it's common. It's not normal.
Yes, yeah, and that's the purpose of having this class, because we have that, you know, like I said, we have 2 sisters who can actually help us, you know. Yes,
And when I went for my cataract surgery, the doctor said, had I ever taken steroids? So steroids, she say, causes,
really,
cataracts.
wow. And of course, we have bladder, and then as we get older, we get bladder problems where we have to, we can't drink a glass of water because we got to use the bathroom. But that's another thing. We can exercise to improve that. You know, there's a pelvic exercise. You know, just get on the floor, raise your hips up, squeeze your knees together, and you know. But a lot of times we don't want to take that time to do it. You know, we just I'll do it next time. And then we have the osteoarthritis. That's like arthritis, you know, that we experience. Yes, sis.
Keep talking, and then I'll jump in with that.
And then, of course, it's important that we stay flexible. flexibility is so important. It would, if you stay flexible, you would likely, I'm not saying it's gonna prevent, but you'd be less likely to have some kind of injury. If you fall, stretch, a simple stretch, just touch your toes. You know, I used to do yoga, and that was the best exercise you can do. I loved it. You know, you'd be able to stretch, and and the reason it is because it's low impact. You're not jumping, you're not straining. You're using your own body weight to do the exercises and the stretches. And then that's is something that even as we get older, we can look into and just do a yoga class. You know, they're always on TV now. They have videos to do yoga. They even have videos for as you age, yoga for older people that do yoga. You know, because some of the yoga poses, like you going, I ain't gonna do that. You know, I can't even do that. But you know, but there is there's even share exercises that you can do. You know, hey, I can't do that, but I can do that. You know, that sit on the chair and just do your legs, move it there. You move your arms. It's so important, your arms. I have heard a lot of people, your arms are so important to keep moving. It's your strength, you know. So, not that we will all experience some of these conditions, but it's good to be aware and to take notice that if you begin to feel any symptoms, do not ignore anything. And then I put my last, take advantage of the Tri-City Wellness. You know, if we have the help here, let's take advantage of it. You know, I've experienced with Sister. She gave me some tips, minerals, and what to eat, and stuff like that for some of my symptoms. Sister Davis, I have gone to her for my chiropractor. There was one time I couldn't move this arm. I couldn't raise it over my head. It was just painful. It was like this, and then I said, you know what? I'm just go to Sister Davis, and I went for her several sections, and within I think 3 treatments and stuff, man, my arm was feeling so good. I was able to raise it because I couldn't raise it. I don't know what I did to it. I said, some friends at work said, you probably need to have surgery. It's probably that rotary cup. And I said, nah. I'm not one of those that hurry up and go get surgery, you know? I said, no, it got to be something else to do that, you know? Because it was painful. I couldn't even take a good shower to rub my back because I said, oh, I can't do this. So I went to Dr. Davis, and man, I think it was like, we did like 3 sessions. She did my thing. She did my x-rays. I went to get x-rays. She pointed what I needed and all the little things that she was telling me, and my spinal and all that. And I'm like, how does she know that? How does she know I was experienced that, you know? So it's good to have, you know, it is. I do believe in the chiropractor, you know, not everything you need to go to the doctor and get a surgery, you know? And so take advantage of the ladies here.
And I'm just going to say a little something about osteoarthritis. People think that it's a condition that you can never heal from, but you can. When your bones are out of alignment, the body's natural process is to lay down extra bone to stabilize that joint. So if you have extra bone in that joint, you know you're going to have a hard time moving it, right? And it's probably going to press on some nerves, some arteries, some venous structures, and you're going to probably experience some pain and some tightness in that area. But if you start moving that area every day, the body can actually resorb that excess bone and regenerate that joint.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
see, you know that.
But yeah, but most people take something to mask that pain, and then they keep doing life instead of learning this. And then we've been told that this is a disease, right?
Exactly.
And you're gonna have this the rest of your life. So here you go. Let's do surgery, or here's some medicine to help deal with the pain instead of actually getting to the root cause.
Right. Oh, okay. See, I did not see. There's a little information we don't know because we always hear. Of course, we go to the doctor and we believe, you know, okay, this is what the doctor says, you know. But you know, it's good to know. Like I said, this is what we need to take advantage of what we have here present and before us. You know, just ask questions. You know, they can give you the advice, and I'm pretty sure if they don't know, they'll say, "We'll do some research for you." You know, so it's good to take advantage of that. And like I said, the list can go on. but these are just a few of things that, we can take notice and to begin to explore how we can make it the best decisions. Again, it is your body. Make the best decisions for yourself. Not everyone will have the same results or have the same symptoms, so it is your body. Like my yoga teacher used to say, listen to your body. And it's true. We need to listen to our body. I know when I go to the doctor and I say, no, but you don't understand. I know my body. I know how I'm feeling. And so, and the good thing with the doctor I've been going to, she's not quick to put me on medication. She said, well, let's just try, because they said, I'm pre-diabetic, I don't know how long. And she said, okay, I'm not going to put you on medication. You just need to exercise and eat right. Carmen, eat right. I said, okay, I can do it. Now I go back again. You're a little bit better, but you need to do better. So, most doctors right off the bat, they want to put you on whatever medication they want, diabetes, with stuff like that, So, but eventually I did tell her, I said, eventually I'm going to get off of these high blood pressure medication. I said, that's my goal, So, but I put, and I also added some verses, Bible verses for us we can, God also speak of us in the Bible of us speaking of old age. It doesn't say that He knows we're all going to get older, but it doesn't mean that we cannot do what we need to do for Him and serve Him and to take care of others, So there's the Bible verses here. Y'all can read them. Like it says, Psalms 92:12-14, the righteous will flourish like a palm tree. They will grow like a cedar of Lebanon. Planted in the house of the Lord, they will flourish in the courts of our God. 14, they will bear fruit. They will still bear fruit in old age. They will stay fresh and green. This verse is to remind us to stay close to God, and He will strengthen, give us wisdom, and to continue to serve Him as we can. I like that when it says we will stay fresh and green. That's our spirit. Our spirit should remain fresh and green. Psalms 71:9, do not cast me off in the time of old age. Forsake me not when my strength is spent. This verse expresses a prayer for continued presence and strength from God, acknowledging the changes associating with aging. So we need to know, we realize we're aging, but God still has us, no matter what. The next one is Psalms 90:12. So teach us to number our days that we may get a heart of wisdom. This verse emphasizes the importance of seeking wisdom and understand as one ages. We need to keep seeking wisdom. Just because we're older doesn't mean we're wiser. And Isaiah 46:4, even in your old age and gray hairs, I am he who sustains you. I made you and I will carry you. I will sustain you and I will rescue you. This verse highlights God's constant presence and support even as physical strength declines. I love that right there. All those verses just say that God is with us. He expects us that we will age, but we can still be of service. This is my presentation. Now, I will give the mic to Sister Balloon.
Good job, Carmen. No need to be afraid. Good morning, ladies. Thank you for coming. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the nutrition side. So my presentation is titled Forks Over Frailty, and simple shifts we could do to support healthy aging. So what do I mean by frailty? I'm referring to nutritional frailty, which is talking about the body's ability that is being vulnerable because we're not getting, absorbing, or using the nutrients properly from the food we eat. And this could cause what we were talking about. You're talking about muscle loss. It could cause fatigue, and it could cause a slow response to healing, all of which makes aging more difficult than it has to be, right? We're going to age. God willing, we will age. But it doesn't have to be hard. Like we were saying, aging doesn't necessarily mean poor health. They're not synonymous. So we're going to talk about simple shifts that we could do that will support our different phases of life. And so why does nutrition matter? I'm going to look at these screens because the font's kind of small. So the choices we make about food will determine how we live our life. So how powerful nutrition plays a role in our life is significant. It can protect us from chronic diseases and illness. It can sharpen our mind and help our cognitive ability. And it can enhance our quality of life. Living longer is a gift, and we were talking about that before we got started. Like, we're not guaranteed tomorrow, right? Living to see our older ages is a gift. And living well as we age is the goal. And we will talk about that. At each slide, I have did you know? It's like a nutritional insight. And there may be stuff that you guys know already. But if not, you learn something new. And so I just asked that we read it together, and it's like a little interactive element to the presentation. So nutrition affects our physical health, right? So it supports strong bones and muscles, and it helps us stay independent longer. We don't have to rely on other people. It helps our mental health. The food that we eat affects how our brain function, our mood, right, and our memory, and our everyday well-being. It just helps us to feel better, right? And so we will read our nutritional little fact at the bottom, and read it with me. Did you know the number of years you live in good health, your health span, can be supported by lifestyle? Has anyone heard of health span before? And so what is lifespan? Yeah, how long we live. So health span is how well you feel during that time of living. Okay? So it's how well do you feel? During your lifespan, are you sick majority of that time? Or do you feel well majority of that time? So your health span, you actually can influence by the lifestyle that you live. And so I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the unique challenges of aging. I've had a grandmother who lived into her 90s, so I've seen this. And maybe you all have experienced some of this. So some of the challenges that you may experience as aging is sensory and appetite changes, right? Taste and smell may fade over time, and your appetite may decline. How many of you don't eat the same way you did when you were younger? You may not like the same foods you did when you were younger. My grandmother was a cook, and she loved to eat, and she loved to cook for everyone. But as she got in her 80s and 90s, she stopped eating. You know, we had to make her eat. And even when we go to nursing homes, we may see their small plates, and they still have food on it, right? They lose their appetite. Chewing and digesting your food. You may have digestive issues. You may have dentures, right? You can't really chew and break down that food. And that affects your ability to metabolize and absorb the food, right? You may have mobility or access limitations. Can you get to the store? Can you drive? Do you have arthritis in your hands? That will affect how you're able to chop and prepare your food. And then medications, Sister Carmen was talking about this. There's some medications that interfere with nutrient absorption, right? And if your doctor doesn't tell you, you may not understand, like, what's going on with my health? Like, why am I feeling this way? Well, you're taking this medication, and there's some interference. Now, I'm not saying stop your medication. Talk to your doctors, read the implications, but just know that there is a connection.
And I found out that some medications, you have to be careful some of them you only can take it at nighttime,
Mm-hmm.
not in the morning. Some of
Yeah.
them are in the morning and not at nighttime.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until I asked one, and they go, "Oh, you're supposed to be taking this at night." I said, "Well, doctor didn't tell me."
Doctor
that."
didn't tell you, yeah, if any of you are on thyroid, yeah.
No, it's because I'm not used to taking medication.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we don't know what questions to
To
ask.
ask, yeah.
You know, with this, if I take this with this, is it going to interfere with this?
Mm-hmm.
If I take supplements, will it interfere with this? And that's something I do ask my doctor, hey, I want to start taking supplements. I gave her a list of, some of the supplements I was taking. Oh, they're good, you know. But can I take it with this medication?
Yeah.
Because it interferes.
Uh-huh.
And believe it or not, even some food will interfere with medication, like grapefruit.
Yeah.
Grapefruit.
Yeah, you're right. And those are all called contraindications. And broccoli, cruciferous vegetables are another one because they're high in detoxifying compounds. So if you're taking that at the same time you're taking medication that you're using, it's going to clear it out. So you're not even going to get the benefit of that medication because you're eating this certain food at the same time. If you're on thyroid medication, you can't take it at the same time that you eat. You need to wait like at least 30, 45 minutes to an hour. I don't have a thyroid, so I have to take my medication every morning an hour before I eat, and I know that. So I have to wake up earlier just to make sure I'm not going to have any interference in that medication. So yeah, you have to be aware. And a lot of times doctors forget to educate their patients because they know, they just assume you're going to know or somehow you're going to find out. You're not going to know. So until you do the research, I do advise you research. Look online. There's several resources that you could look at drug and food interactions online to see if you are going to at risk of deficiency of a certain nutrient by how you're taking it. So let's read our Did You Know? Even subtle shifts in taste, digestion, and chewing ability can influence how your body takes in and uses that nutrient. So keep that in mind. This slide is not to be discouraging, but it's to help us to understand what is going on in our body and then how we could be proactive into meeting the current needs of our body as we're going through these different stages of life. Because as you're aging, your body is just different. It's not broken, right? You just have different needs now, and that's okay. And so let's talk about nutrients. So we have some nutrients that we're getting too little of and too many of. So these top 5, there could be more, but I did some research on this. These are the 5 that we're kind of getting too little of as we age. And I don't know if you guys are on social media, probably not. I don't know, maybe you are, but there's a big rage right now with protein going on everywhere. Cottage cheese everywhere, right? Cottage cheese in your smoothie, cottage cheese in your eggs, cottage cheese in your pancakes. It's everywhere because people are trying to get more and more protein. But what they're missing is dynamic duo, fiber. Fiber is almost more important. You know, you need fiber. They're both important. You need both. Right, so protein is essential for preserving muscle and your immune strength, your immune health. But fiber is good at clearing you out, keeping you regular, you know, making sure you're not getting constipated. And it's also really good with helping regulate your blood sugar and cholesterol. And then fatty acids. Have you guys heard of omega-3 fatty acids? You know, eat your salmon, eat your fish, you know. So why? Rightly so, right? It's really good for handling inflammation in the body, and it protects your brain and heart. And these are often lower in older adults because you're not eating a lot of fish, right? For one, fish is very expensive right now. So to get your omega-3s in, you got to kind of go outside of fish and animal-based protein and eat some of these plant-based proteins. They're easier and more affordable. But if you can't afford it, eat more fish, right? And some plant-based fats as well. We'll talk about that in another slide. And then vitamins. Your B vitamins are so important to your health. They are needed for almost every function to work in the body. And vitamins D and E act as like your antioxidants in the body. So you need them for all the functions to work. And a lot of times these are the nutrients that you're not getting enough of because of the medication use. Medications interfering with the absorption of these nutrients. And B12 and D are really important for your bone health, your nerves, your brain health, everything. And what's a good way to get vitamin D? Do we know? Yeah, being out in the sun. There's even an app, it's called D-Minder. And it'll tell you the best time to be out in the sun based on your location, your skin, how much melanin you have in your skin, and how much clothes you have on. And it'll tell you how long to be out there and how much vitamin D you're actually getting from the sun. So it's a great free way to get more vitamin D. And then minerals, your calcium, magnesium, and potassium. These are just a few, but they help regulate your muscles and your blood pressure. Do you guys ever get like a twitching in your eye? You get restless leg maybe? And okay, so we're now looking at these minerals. These are implicated in that because when you're low and deficient in in your magnesium and potassium, it causes those twitching, it sets it off. So a lot of times just eating, what's high in calcium that I really like is dried apricots. Dried apricots have a great amount of calcium. So does prunes. You guys like prunes? Yeah. Prunes are good, and so are lentils, huh? Yeah, it keeps you regular as a fiber. Magnesium and calcium. Magnesium you could get from leafy greens. And calcium, dairy, but there's non-dairy forms of calcium too. You get salmon, sardines. You guys like sardines? Has a good amount of calcium in it. And then phytonutrients. Have you guys heard of that before? Phytonutrients are compounds. So they're compounds found in plants. They don't have a nutritive value, so there is no calories to it, but they give a lot of health benefits. And a lot of that you find in fruits and vegetables, and they act as antioxidants in the body. So they help clear out the free radicals in the body, and they help support a lot of functions in the body. Uh-huh.
I just want to say that a lot of times when you age, you're dealing with acid reflux and things like that, and that might prevent you from even desiring foods that contain
all of these wonderful elements of health. Like we have low stomach acid as we age, and we can't break these things down or absorb them properly.
Yeah.
So, and there's ways to fix that. So,
Yeah, there are ways to fix it. There are foods you can eat that will help with digestion, that will help, give you more hydrochloric acid, which is that stomach gas that you need to break down the food, but also with absorbing the food and making sure that you have the proper enzymes. If you have poor digestion or if you have leaky gut, those enzymes are not going to be there to help you be able to break down that food because they're leaking out into the bloodstream and they're not going to where they need to go. But there are things you can do. One of the things is your color of your diet. Like, are any of you guys subscribed to the Well newsletter? We talk about this. Our first publication was talking about eating the rainbow, right? We talked about the different colors and the compounds that they have in them. And so when you go to the grocery store, what color is the primary color in your cart? Is it all beige? Is it all white? Is it all green? It should be a diverse color range in your cart because they all offer different value, nutritional value, right? I always tell my husband when he goes to the grocery store for us, make sure you get every color. Don't come back here with just one vegetable. Get every color. And if you're used to just getting white potatoes, maybe try purple. Yes. If you're used to getting, white cauliflower, try orange. If you're used to getting carrots or orange carrots, try rainbow. Different ways, try rainbow kale, that you could change and get different color and add that diversity back into your diet. It will serve you well. And some of the nutrients that we're getting too much of, not in our diet necessarily, but through supplementation, is vitamin A. And I'm referring to the retinol form of vitamin A. And not saying that we don't need vitamin A. We absolutely need vitamin A. It's found in a lot of our animal protein. We need vitamin A. The issue is when you supplement, vitamin A has been implicated in being toxic. So you have to be very careful that if you're supplementing with vitamin A, you're not going over those upper limits. And because the liver will have a hard time clearing it out, right? Especially if your liver is stagnant or you have non-alcohol, liver disease, non-alcoholic liver disease, fatty liver disease, then you will have a hard time clearing out those toxins from the body. And then iron. Postmenopausal women and men rarely need more iron because you're not losing it, right? You're not losing iron anymore. Women, we're not losing it anymore if you're postmenopausal. So if you're taking a multivitamin, look and see if it has iron in it. And especially if you don't need it, you could talk to your doctor, especially if your doctor put you on a multivitamin, go talk to him and say, hey, do I really need this multivitamin? Do I need this one? Can I get one without iron? What are your iron levels in your body? You could find that in your labs because you may not need it. And too much iron could cause oxidative stress in the body, and it could damage the organs. So we want to be careful about iron. And do you know, as we age, our bodies need more nutrients, even if we're eating less. Choosing nutrient-rich foods help us stay strong and healthy. Do you guys believe that? Yeah. Do you understand that? So we're eating less food, but we're not getting more nutrition, right? So what is a nutrient-dense food? Does anyone know? What constitute a nutrient-dense food? Our diet. Right? So this is what we talked about. So whole food. Kind of shop the parameters of a grocery store. Your fruits and vegetables, your meats, that constitutes a whole food. How much processed is it? I'm not saying processed food is bad, because guess what? Frozen food is processed, it's packaged. Cheese is packaged. You know, you could get nuts that are packaged. So not all processed food or packaged food is bad for you, but I would say turn it around and look at the ingredients. Is it a laundry list, or is it just a few ingredients that you recognize as real food? So those would be nutrient dense. How close is it to nature? Is nutrient, the more nutrient dense it will be.
So let me ask a question. So are you saying to eat more of the foods versus the supplements?
Always start with food. Always start with food. Supplement. Supplement if you need to. Always start with food. And I would say most people are deficient in a lot of nutrients. And a lot of times food is not enough to meet that need, okay? Sometimes food is not enough, especially if you are deficient. You may have to supplement. And like Tamar was saying, we prefer to supplement with desiccated organs. These are dried organs from cows or whatever animal, but a lot of times it's bovine, it's cow, calf. So if you need a multivitamin, I prefer to use liver, desiccated liver. If you're low on iron, I prefer to use desiccated spleen, you know, before I would go out and use a multivitamin. Unless I knew, if I was deficient in almost all my vitamins, especially my B vitamins, vitamin C, my antioxidants, you may very well need a multivitamin. But yes.
I got a question.
Yes.
What is desiccated?
Desiccated.
Desiccated?
Yeah, it just means it's dried. It's been dried down. Yeah,
okay.
it's like jerky. Think of jerky, it's dried down and then it's been put in powder form.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I wanted to add, you know how African Americans, we were enslaved, and they would give us like all the entrails and all of that, right? Mm-hmm. That's why we seem to be stronger and more built up. We got all that organ meat, and we
They thought they were giving us scraps
and all of that.
Yeah.
And they thought they thought we were getting the scraps, and
and it,
we
it
were-
served
we were
as well.
getting-
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just like, my mom used to say a joke, what was it? Was a mother who had two sons, loved one son better than the other. She would make soup and give the meat to the favorite son and gave the broth to the less loved son. But the one who had the more nutrients was the one who was eating the soup, because the broth, because that's where all the nutrients was from.
Yeah.
I do believe that, you know, that's why sometimes they have that bone broth.
Bone broth.
You know, and I take that sometimes, because and I just doctor up with some onions or something in there.
Yeah. Bone broth.
And as you were talking about the multivitamins, I've also read up that you also have to be careful on the brand that you're buying, because not all the multivitamins are made with the same quality.
Absolutely right. I would not buy any multivitamins in a store, a retail store. Hardly ever. I would go to a pharmaceutical grade supplement company, medically grade, and a lot of times you need to go through a practitioner to get access to those supplements, because they are held to a higher standard than what grocery store supplements are, for the most part. There are some that are good. I like Mary Ruth's brand, if you guys are familiar with Mary Ruth, and she's in the grocery store. So not all of them are bad, but just do your research. You know, do your research. You could go online and find anything you want to nowadays. We're talking about the information age. You could go online and find anything and research your brands and call them. I've called several brands before. I want to see your certificate of authenticity. I want to see your certificate, of compliance. I want to see that. And if they can't provide it to you, they're not transparent, that's a red flag. Right? So, but you could do it. You have access to do that.
So you can even give your pet desiccated supplement.
Yes.
I bought some. Finally got some for Leo again, and made the mistake and gave it to him at night, and he thought it was playtime. He's 13, and dude was zooming all over the house, and he's 13. Nobody believes he's 13 because he's so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and
The same.
and his dog supplement has every organ in it.
Yes. Yes.
And it's in powder. You just sprinkle
Yep,
it
you
on,
sprinkle it
and,
on their food. Yep.
and he.
I did the same to Zoe, my dog too. I will give her some desiccated organs and put it in some yogurt or whatever, or do a freezer yogurt treat. And that's her supplement, you know, especially as they're aging, they need support too. You know, we don't want to give them,
It's amazing how you can see
Yeah.
it work in them,
yeah, instantly, yeah,
you know.
especially their coat, it's shiny and, yeah, they're more vibrant. But yeah. So we'll talk about the power of the mighty protein, okay? Protein is one of our macronutrients. We need it in large amounts. So protein, carb, and fat, we need in large amounts. So they're called macronutrients. And as older adults, we need more protein, not less, right? We need to eat our protein because it supports our muscle growth. It supports our strength. And it also keeps us healthy. We're not falling over, you know? We're not having all of these issues with bone loss and bone density, because we need to eat our protein. And here are good sources of protein. These are not the only sources of protein, but these are great sources. So you have eggs, Greek yogurt, chicken, salmon, lentils, beans, right? We want to get those proteins in every single day, and you want to aim for 1 to 1.2 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. Now, this range varies depending on who you talk to. But I did research for older adults, and this is what was recommended. So 1 to 1.2 grams. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you divide that by 2.2. 2.2 kilograms is equivalent to 1 pound, and that's how much you get your weight in kilograms. Then you divide that by the 1 to 1.2 grams that you need per kilogram of body weight, and that's what the amount of protein range that you should be aiming for each day. Now, do you eat it all at once? No. How many times do you eat a day? Maybe 3, divided by however many times you eat a day. I divided this by 3, and you're looking at about 23 to 27 grams per meal. So if you're eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, make sure your protein is about 20 to 23 grams per meal. And that way you're assuring that you're getting the adequate amount of protein that your body needs to function. And so did you know muscle is your longevity tissue? The more you preserve it with protein and movement, the better you will feel and function through the years. And that is so true, because your body will steal from it. It will take from it. And that's why you get osteoporosis, because your body's taking from it because you're not feeding it what it needs. This brings me to, how many of y'all don't eat? How many of y'all not eating? See? Not eating, yeah, that you don't eat. See? Okay. What do you do with a car when it's on E? Can you drive a car if it's on E? You are literally a vehicle, okay? You are the car, and the food is the gas. So, what is food? Food is nutrients, okay? That's the only way our cells function. Some of those nutrients are essential and some are not. So we have to get it through the food. Some nutrients the body makes, some that does not. We have to get it through our food. If we are not eating, we are not getting the fuel our body needs to function. Our health will 100% decline. Yes.
So whenever you fast, I know y'all was saying something about broth.
About
So
broccoli.
when I fast and I do liquid fast, what should I drink during a liquid fast? What's the best recommended thing?
Well, if you're doing a traditional liquid fast, it would just be water.
Okay.
There's several types of fasts you can do, and this is bigger. Fasting is a bigger conversation than this. But
Right.
if you're going to do a fast, broth would be something that you could include because it does have nutrients in it. But if you are doing a traditional fast, it's just the liquid. It's just water.
Okay.
Women now, you have to be careful. We have to be careful with fasting, especially if you're still, menstruating. You have to be careful with fasting. But men, fasting was kind of built around the physiology of a man. So our women, we are not little men, right? We have different needs, especially when it comes to our hormones. And fasting can can counter certain hormones from working properly. So we have to be very careful. Fasting can be beneficial. It can be for the right bodies. It's not for everybody. And it can be harmful for some people and not for others. So have anyone ever tried fasting before? You like it? Yeah. It's the same for my husband. He feels nauseated with water, and a lot of that is digestion. And are you adding any type of electrolytes or like lemon, citrus to your water? Try that. maybe try squeezing a little bit of lemon. And do you have any kidney or blood pressure? Because I would say a little salt. Okay, then don't. But try squeezing a little lemon or put cucumber in your water, just make like a water essence. Because you probably just want a little bit of a taste. And maybe even try coconut water. And we will get to hydration. It is definitely a slide on here, but we will get into other things that you could use to hydrate your body besides water. There are other ways you can hydrate. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Our body will let us know when we need that water. A lot of people have a habit of trying to drink a gallon of water a day, and I'm like, well, I have heard some. I don't know if it's true, but I've heard. Well, actually, the doctor you always put me, that you could send me, Dr. Burt, is it?
Oh, yeah. Bird.
Yeah, he's always saying, I like to listen to him because he gives good advice on stuff, and he says on the same thing, not only him, but other people I've heard that sometimes we think that by drinking all this water, we're doing a benefit to our body, but sometimes we will deplete it from the nutrients that we already have because we're just using the bathroom.
You can 100% do that, yeah. And we, in our last episode, our publication of Tribe Wellness, we did talk about hydration, and especially for senior citizens, things to be cautious of, and for young women who are still menstruating, things to be aware of. But you can absolutely deplete, your electrolyte balance by drinking all this water, and you're not replenishing any of those minerals, because minerals are just charged ions in the body. And you drink all this water, you're diluting it, and you're not eating, you're not drinking drinks that have electrolyte balance in it. So how are you getting it back, right? So, and you're not eating a lot of salt. So how are you getting it back? You're not eating potassium and magnesium and chloride. So these are all electrolytes, right? So we have to make sure that we're getting it back and we're repleting our body with what we have depleted with that electrolyte balance. And so this is fun. Have you guys ever seen something like this? Yeah. So using your hand as a guide. So it's not precise. It's not precise as, a measuring cup or a food scale. But if you go ahead, let's just try it. You take your fist, and this is relative to your body size. So you don't have to worry about, well, am I getting the right size? Yes, for your body, right? Your portion size is going to be different from your husband's or from each other, right? So if you do your fist, that's about equivalent to a starchy carbohydrates or fruit. That's how big you want it to be when you're going to a store. The cup your hand, that's about what you want your snacks. If you chips, you want like chips. Does it look like that much is what you get, or is it like 5 servings of that, right? So it's much bigger. Exactly. Exactly. 2 handfuls. So you get the most with that one. That's the volume food right here. This is like your non-starch or your non-starch vegetables, your leafy greens. Like you could get way more servings with that. So it's equivalent to like 2 handfuls. And then a fingertip, just that one little fingertip, the tip of it. That's what your fat should look like, right? That's a teaspoon. So when you're cooking, are you cooking with that teaspoon? Or is it like 5 of those? Like it could be more. Butter, it even said mayonnaise. Who's using that little bit of mayonnaise? So you just know, like, it's a gauge. It's not saying that's all you use, but you use it as a gauge. Remember, when you calculate how much nutrients you need, then you could calculate how many fists do I need? And then your thumb is equivalent to 2 tablespoons, which is 1 ounce. When you get cheese or snack cheese, like compare, like, oh, guesstimate, is it about the size of my thumb? And then we're talking about protein. The palm of your hand is 3 to 4 ounces of protein. So how much protein do you need? Look at the palm of your hand and gauge, am I meeting that, each meal? Am I getting that 27 grams or whatever it is for you? But that's a fun way to gauge. It's, like I said, it's not precise, but it is an effective way to get an idea in the ballpark of what you need, because nothing is precise. Our body is way too intricate and complex to be ruled by numbers, right? It's just a gauge. Healthy fats, oh my gosh. The low-fat craze back in the, when was it, 70s? Okay, please tell me you guys eat fat. Do you guys eat fat? Okay, thank you. Please eat your fat. I could send you studies if you want, studies to show that study that they did one in 2019 that basically debunked that myth, that whole fat scare that they did in the 70s about the low-fat craze. Like, we need fat. Cholesterol is fat. We need cholesterol because it makes our hormones. We need cholesterol because it makes vitamin D. right? We need cholesterol for a lot of things in the body. So we want to eat our fat. It's not bad for you. Now, there is a difference between, healthier fats and your trans fats. Even some saturated fats are not all bad. But some people will tell you avoid saturated fat. Saturated fat is found in meat. If you're eating a high quality meat, you don't have to worry about that, right? So don't be afraid to eat your fat. You do want to limit your fried food. Now, I do have balance on here, right? We have the standard American diet right here on the left. And then on the top, we have the standard American diet, but we're also saying you can add to this, right? It's not always about restriction. You can add. So if you decide to eat pizza, you can add a salad on the side, right? If you decide to eat candy, you can have some yogurt or an egg, add some protein, right? There's things you could do to add to it. If you go to Chick-fil-A, when I go to Chick-fil-A, I like to get a kale salad instead of fries, Yeah, so there's things you could do that you could still exist, right? You could still be with your family. You could still enjoy food, because all the time, food is not just about nutrition. It's about connection, community, joy. We have a lot of memories connected to food. It's celebrations. So it's about balance. And at the bottom, you have a Mediterranean diet. Doesn't that look beautiful? Yeah, that's where life-giving. All that could fit. All of that could fit. It's about balance and how you're honoring your body.
So some,
As I sit here feasting and snacking more than the palm of my hand, most people have problems with their liver and gallbladder and aren't able to either break down or absorb fats. And if you've had your gallbladder removed, they don't tell you that you need bile salts.
They absolutely don't tell you.
They
I've
do
had my
not tell you.
gallbladder removed, and this is why I'm in nutrition, because I've suffered so much with nutrition. But they do not tell you that when you had your gallbladder removed, you will need to take a bile supplement for the rest of your life, because you don't have that organ there anymore, and it's not sitting there getting that concentrated bile. So when you eat fast food, it goes right through you, right
Yep.
through you,
Yep.
and you don't. Oh, for some people, you don't have your gallbladder? Oh, yeah. Yeah, but you should be taking a gallbladder because it's going to help you metabolize fat. And what you will also notice, you may get bumps on the back of your arms. And that's an indicator, too, that you're not metabolizing fat.
Exactly.
It's
Low
low.
vitamin A. Now, I have my gallbladder, but because of my history with antibiotics all my life, my liver became toxic. So my gallbladder wasn't working properly. So I've had to detox my liver for years, and I constantly am in a lifestyle of detoxing my liver because of all of the damage, so that I can get back to a place where I'm now absorbing fats, because I have some conditions too that I would eat the fats, but I wasn't breaking them down and I wasn't absorbing them, so my body wasn't benefiting, even though, like, you'll see me put a bunch of butter on stuff because I'm deficient.
Yeah.
But I take things to help me now clean my liver, clean my gallbladder, and absorb the fats, because like she said, your brain is covered, your nervous system is covered in fat. And if you don't have it, you slow down. Like
Yeah.
you everything ages, because without the brain and the nervous system, you don't live, you don't function.
Yeah.
And so you need the fat.
Yeah.
You need it.
Yeah, exactly. Like she said, fat is responsible for the integrity walls of your brain. Like it literally holds the cells of your cell membrane intact. So that's phospholipid bilayer. So that is fat. You need it. You absolutely need it. So we have to make sure that we're absorbing it, we're metabolizing it, we're breaking it down, so we can use those nutrients to function well. And then carbohydrates, and fiber is a type of carbohydrate that support our well-being. And, not all carbs are created equal. There are some. And I want to preface this by saying not everyone could eat carbohydrates. Some people may be more sensitive to carbohydrates if you are insulin resistant. If you have diabetes, prediabetes, you may be intolerant of carbohydrates initially until you fix that, right? So not everything on this slide may pertain to you. Right? Because if you eat whole grains or certain fruits or legumes or rice, your blood sugar is going to spike, especially if you're not pairing it with protein, because protein will blunt that spike. So if you are sensitive to carbohydrates, I do encourage you to eat it with with some type of protein, like you were talking about bone broth. Cook your rice in bone broth. Properly prepare your rice. How many of you soak your rice or soak your beans? Yes, you need to soak your beans because they have anti-nutrients on them because they don't want to be eaten, right, by predators outside. They want to grow. So even when we eat them, we can't break down those anti-nutrients. So we have to soak it.
And also high pressure cook your beans. It's very
Yes.
important.
Yep.
So loud.
So she's so right. High pressure cook your beans. If you have a Instapot or a high pressure cooker, yeah, those are good ways to prepare your beans. And also with like certain fruit and vegetables, if they have a skin, the fiber is in the skin. Eat the skin. Just clean it well. Or buy organic if you can. If you can't, that's okay. Just clean it well. Rinse it with some vinegar. Let it soak in some vinegar, and then clean it. And then eat the skin, especially kiwi is very high in fiber. Eat the skin. I just tried to eat the skin the other day. I'm like, okay, it's not that bad. At first it was kind of weird because it's hairy. Yeah, but it was actually very good, kind of like an apple with the skin on it. And so fiber promotes satiety. It's that feeling of fullness, that's thanks to fiber. It makes us feel that way, and it lowers cholesterol, and it feeds our gut bacteria, right? It acts like a prebiotic. It feeds our gut microbiota. And so older adults tend to eat less fiber, but we need it more to prevent constipation and to lower our blood sugar and support colon health. So our little did you know, fiber is one of the most underconsumed nutrients, but is powerful for gut, heart, and immune health. So eat your fiber. It's recommended to have about 24, 25 grams of fiber a day. Divide that by however many times you eat. Try to get that in at each meal. It's important that you get your fiber in through food if you can. There are fiber supplements like psyllium husk you can add to your diet. You can add to your smoothies, and it increases fiber. I actually give it to my dog because she only eats human food, so I have to give some psyllium husk so to bulk up her stool because she has long hair, so that's never fun. But yeah, eat your fiber. And then water. The overlooked nutrient. Did y'all know water was a nutrient? Yes. The overlooked nutrient. How many of you guys have water with you today? Some type of liquid? Yes, always. Especially in this heat. Carry water with you because even just the slightest hint of dehydration, and as we get older, we lose our sense of thirst. It's a natural process that happens with aging. By the time you're thirsty, it's already too late. You're playing catch up. So you want to make sure you're staying on top of your hydration throughout the day. If you're going out, especially now in the summer, please take a water bottle with you. Always have your water with you. You're more likely to be hydrated without realizing, and you want to sip on it throughout the day. Don't just guzzle. Sip on it throughout the day because you want to make sure you're fueling yourself throughout the day. And so fluid can also come from herbal teas. It could come from broth like miso or even bone broth. It could come from water-rich foods like cucumbers and melons and juicy fruits. So those are all sources of hydration. They all add to your hydration status. And for older adults, it's recommended, how much was it? I think 7 to 10 cups of fluid a day. So at least get that, 7 to 10 cups of fluid a day. And so be mindful of electrolyte balance. So I like to put electrolytes in my water, especially if I'm on the go. However, electrolytes may not be for everyone, right? If you're dealing with kidney issues and you're dealing with high blood pressure and your electrolyte powder has a lot of sodium, that could be putting you at risk, right, for having even worse health outcomes, yes.
What are the best electrolytes recommended?
I like Jigsaw Health. All my electrolytes are online, except one. They just started selling at Sprouts. It's called Just Ingredients. I don't like the way it mixes because it takes a long to mix, but it is a good quality, Just Ingredients. I like Jigsaw Health, and I also like ProMix, and those are all online. I haven't found any that I love in the grocery store. I used to do none, I think it is, or whatever Sprouts has, but Sprouts does have Just Ingredients. So that's what I recommend. Do you have some that you like, Tamara? Ultima. And you could get Ultima at Sprouts as well.
I could not find it
Is it not there anymore?
They have stopped carrying.
Is it at Whole Foods?
More than likely it's at Whole Foods because it's definitely on Amazon.
Okay, yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
That's what I use, and I don't drink it, like you said, my dad, when I, I'm gonna be active or I'm gonna go outside, I do as
Yeah.
longer and
Yep.
feel better.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I always drink my electrolytes after exercising, especially if it's strength training. Yeah, and that's good because you need to be. Yeah, you need to be repleted, especially if you sweat.
I did experience one time when my blood sugar was like
Low.
60 something,
Yeah.
and my daughter Raquel said, "You need to get some kind of electrolytes on you now,"
Yeah.
because it was just so low.
Mhm.
And I still had some that you told me to get some, so I put it in there and I drank it, and I took my blood pressure and it was going up. It was
Yeah.
okay. It started to even it out, you know.
Mhm.
And she said, if it doesn't go up, you need to go to the hospital.
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
You know, so I did take the electrolytes, and
Yeah.
she says, "Mom, what happened?" Which I'm guilty. You dehydrated, and that's why your sugar is going that way.
It's
your
so
blood
easy.
pressure.
Yeah, you're losing that water, and then you don't have the sodium. Sodium holds on to it, and glucose, which is in a lot of electrolytes.
Drink water. I keep my little glass of water by my desk so I can sip,
Yeah.
like you said.
Yeah.
And then also try to do, if I feel like I need electrolytes, I then make me a glass and just
Yeah.
keep it there with me.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can make it. You can make it at home. Just a little salt, just a little Himalayan salt, a little lemon, little sugar, and you have electrolyte drink, right? So
And what about cucumbers? Just cucumbers and water?
cucumbers and water. Cucumbers are fruit. It's a mineral, so it's still going to have those electrolytes in it. It acts more as like an essence, but yeah, you can put cucumber in your water for electrolytes. Mhm. In majority of fruits. Walmart water.
The bottled water.
Like a bottled water, just a regular bottled water? So Walmart has like an electrolyte brand, off-brand, is that what you're saying? Like,
I'm saying, if you buy just the bottled water at Walmart,
mhm.
then you just put the lemon or
Yeah,
it meets the
yeah,
electrolyte.
yeah. You just want to mix it in water. Yeah, mix it in water.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You don't have to go out and buy four.
No, absolutely not. A lot of time that's marketing. No. Yeah. And I would advise if you're at home, try to drink not from plastic. If you're at home, drink from a glass or your water bottle, stainless steel. But if you're out and about and you need water, please, by all means, get you a water bottle and drink it. It absolutely matters. Filter water if you can. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That passes the standards to be tap water. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna speak on the water thing because we've been in Texas for 18 years, and when we first moved into our house, actually the first day we got here, we went into a hotel, and I needed to wash my hair. And I'm in the shower washing my hair, and all of this white stuff starts forming in my hair. Chicago has soft water.
Wow.
In fact, Chicago had some of the best water. They don't anymore, but so I didn't know what this was.
Right.
And so we got out of there, needless to say, but I realized that the water here was hard and so mineralized. So then when we moved into our home, I was like, you can chew this water.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have had, for the last probably 13, 14 years, we've had a whole house system
Yeah.
and a reverse osmosis under the sink.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I learned more and more about nutrition that I realized that reverse osmosis does not have minerals in it, and
Yeah.
therefore you have to supplement. So you can clean your water at home, but it will not give you the minerals that you need. So you still have to replenish. Even the water being clean and you filling it up with your water bottle, you have to add to it.
Yeah.
So
And that's exactly right. And I didn't mention this, but I do tell people a lot. Add trace minerals to your water. If you can, you could get them at Sprouts. It's called Trace Elements, I believe is the brand, but add minerals to your water because our water is lacking. And as you can see, we need minerals. They are the spark plugs to all the enzymes in the body. So we need minerals. So if you can, purchase some trace minerals to just put a few drops in your water every single time you drink water. So, did you know, a well-watered body is like a well-oiled machine. Everything runs smoothly from your brain to your bowels. Amen. It truly does. It truly does. And so to bring it all together, aging well is not about perfection. We are incapable of meeting this perfection standard. It's about making these small intentional changes day in and day out, every day, consistently. Nourish your body with foods that support your function. Pay attention to your body's signals because we all have them, right? You know when something's off in your body, you feel it. Take simple steps like drinking your water, adding olive oil to your salad, eating more beans, preparing them properly so you don't have all this flatulence, right? It makes a difference. And then God designed our bodies to be resilient and to be responsive. And our job is to honor it with care, and it will do the rest. Our body is so efficient with the raw materials that we give it. And even to your old age and gray hairs, I am He, and I am He who will sustain you. And I truly believe that. And so this is the end of our presentation. If you guys are not subscribed and follow us on The Well, please support us. We are putting in our work to get this information out to you guys. And if there is a topic that you want us to talk about, let us know. Let Tamar know. Let me know. Let Sister Jasmine know because she helps write this. So let us know. We will be more than happy to add it to one of the newsletter publications. Because this really is for you. You know, this is for our congregation to support each other and to build up these bodies so we could be here longer and be here for each other, right? So is there any questions that you have for me and Sister Carmen? Because this wraps up my portion.
So why you can't drink bottled water in the house? I've heard you're not supposed to do that when it's been sitting in the sun.
Oh, definitely not.
But
Microplastics.
or in the car, but I've never heard of it. You just at your
Well,
house.
it's the same reason. It's because all the microplastics that are released in the water. So you don't want to, if you can avoid plastic, then you want to because of BPA. So there are certain toxins in plastic that if it leaches into the water, you're now ingesting it. And it's hard for your body to get rid of it because some of these toxins are forever chemicals. Like especially plasticizers, they stay in your body, and if you're not actively eating the foods to detoxify your organs, it's going to be hard to get them out, and then that's going to impact how your organs function. So if you can avoid drinking from plastic, you want to.
So like the water, and I don't want to use that. So the water that you buy at the store, you bring in your home and you put it in the refrigerator in the plastic. What do you suggest? How do you get your water? Because I don't drink the tap water.
Oh, can you buy a filter like a pitcher? They even have pitchers. Even if you can't get a whole house filtration system, you could get pitchers that have.
bottled water.
You buy the case, and then you put it in the refrigerator.
Can you? That's
Out a bottle and
right.
drink it. So what do you?
Are you buying bottled water because you don't have a filtration system at home or a pitcher?
Right. I'm buying bottled water because I
Can
don't
you
like
swap
the
it?
taste of the water that
Can you swap it?
out of
The money that you're spending for the bottled water, can you buy a pitcher instead and with a filter and then use that to get your water from? You could put it in tap, you could use tap water, and that filter will clear the chemicals out of that water, out of that tap water. So when you pour it into your cup, it goes through that filter, and it will not include all of those toxicants that are in the water.
Well, is that like a water machine,
Well, you can get a filtration system, or you could get a pitcher, like a water
What do
pitcher.
you mean by this picture? We don't know.
Yeah, it's talking about
A water pitcher.
So what they sell is
They're at Walmart. Yeah, you could get them at any retailer. Yeah.
It's just a pitcher and it has a filter that you just pour your water and you can keep the jug, it's like a pitcher, you can keep it in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
It has a filter.
It has a filter in it that the water goes through.
Saying that's recommended over the bottled water, because that way, all you gotta do is buy that pitcher, and now you just filter your water.
And you're saving more money over time.
What I'm saying is I don't like the taste of the water, so filter the bottle. But what if you had one of the little water machines, you know, that you put, is that still not? The water cooler. The water cooler.
Is it in glass or is it in plastic? Like the one they have out there. Yeah, they have some of those in glass. So is yours glass or plastic? If it's plastic, it's the same principle. It's the same thing.
Is it not filtered in that little
No,
machine?
no, it's not filtered.
Your water is already filtered, the one that I buy at the Mountain Springs, it's already,
Yeah,
just put it on there to get the,
yeah.
But it's in a plastic bottle.
it's in a PPA
BPA container.
It's the quality of the plastic that they ship it. So it doesn't cause any kind of thing, the
It's a different, each one has like a different plastic.
it's a different,
Yeah, some of the more cheaper plastic are not BPA.
the one that you buy.
I can send you a link. Yeah. I know, it can be. I could absolutely send you something on plastic, and I could send you a site. It's escaping me now, but there is a site that you could look at that tells you what area that you're in, what the quality of your water is. And I can't remember the name, but I'll send it to you.
If we could buy the bottled water, like, we've always thought that was probably more economical anyway. But if we bought that in the little machine, so the plastic bottle that water comes in, and the machine, you can use that, and it makes the water still fine.
Right. So just make sure that the bottle that you're using, like you're getting your plastic, that you're getting your water from, the bottled water is BPA free.
So, yeah, there's a little water company across the street.
Mm-hmm.
You tell me what I need to look for, and I'll tell my daughter,
Okay.
we can figure it out.
Yeah, sure. Okay, sure, absolutely. I'll actually just put it in the sisters chat so everyone can have access to it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Please send it to me.
Okay.
Well, you know, the one where there's 1,000 of them, I sometimes get.
Oh, you're saying, okay. Yeah.
It's like today's meeting here, I was trying to find some information.
I get it.
about and I'm thinking,
It's too much going on. I'll find your email in One Church. Is your email updated in One Church? I will email you. Okay.
And then do a search, sis. Just go to your search bar and type in whatever you're looking for. And whatever, either in your